Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of College Hockey Talk. On today's podcast, I'm joined by a very special guest. Freshman of the Mercyhurst women's hockey team, Alyssa Kawa, joins the show today. Welcome to the podcast, Alyssa, and how's everything going?
Yeah, thank you for having me. Everything's going great.
Well, thank you so much for coming on. And now just talk about your recent series against RIT. What did you take away from it, and what did you learn from this series that's going to help you moving forward as you're trying to get used to college hockey?
Yeah, our series was a hard-fought team win both games. The team came together to pull off the win because both games were tied most of the game, and then we were able to pull off the win in the third period. What I learned from the series that is going to benefit me as the season progresses is that whether you get 20 shifts or one shift a game, always be ready because each person has a unique talent, and when it's recognized, you're going to be able to help the team progress to the end goal of the Final Four.
Now you're going up against some great teams in Nashville next weekend. So how excited are you, first of all, to go to Nashville, and how excited are you to face some of the best teams in the country since the Gophers have been really successful so far this year?
Yeah, I'm extremely excited to go to Nashville and get to have the experience of a lifetime. I understand that we're going to play against some, best teams in the country, but I don't think we need to really worry about them. If anything, they should be worried about us. We have 28 strong players from our goalies up to our forwards with a solid set of coaches behind us. So at this level, games are really based off who shows up and wants to win. So yeah, I'm super excited.
Now, have you ever been to Nashville before, and do you plan to do anything fun when you're down there? I know obviously the hockey's the main thing, but do you plan to do anything else besides that?
Yeah, I'm hoping to do some sightseeing with my parents when we're down there, and never been to Nashville, so it should be a really good experience.
Awesome. And are you playing at where the Predators play, or is it another stadium down there?
Yeah, it's another stadium, I'm pretty sure, down there, but super nice. All the arenas down in Nashville are really nice. So
Awesome. Well, your team's been really successful so far this year. You've had successful weekends sweeping Franklin Pierce and RPI, and you also beat St. Lawrence this year as well. So just talk about your team's performance so far this season, and what have you personally taken away from these games that you've played so far?
yeah, our team has been successful so far this season. We've had some hard fought games, and we never give up until the buzzer. Some things I've taken away from those first few games was that I had to transition the way I played because I was at a new level. The game was faster. You had to be more intellectual and having to learn my new teammates, but everything's come along quite well, and I'm happy to continue the season.
And what's been the biggest adjustment for you for college hockey so far this year?
I would say the biggest adjustment that I've had to make would be the fact of living away from my biggest supporters. Although you have your team and like you're supposed to be 28 sisters, there are always going to be differences. And when it comes to lineup decisions, come into factor, and you can always go your way. So all I would say is that being away from your blood family is difficult, but having a calm mind and your strength grows in the moment when you think of it. When you can't go, like you just keep going ahead and looking forward.
Now, how was your off season this year, and how did you prepare for this upcoming college hockey season with a lot of challenges, I assume, with the pandemic still going on? Like, did you have to face any ice closures or gyms being closed? Like, how did you handle all those challenges that you faced preparing for this upcoming season for your first year in college hockey?
Yeah, so I was actually fortunate to have the ability to go on the ice still and act as if it was a normal off season. So I basically used my off season as a time to let the legs rest and really focused on myself and my well being. One thing that I don't think D1 athletes or any athlete in that matter realize is that there's a life outside of competing and always being focused on hockey. So we all tend to think that hockey is the only thing in life that makes us happy, but we only think that because we spend 24 hours of the day thinking and working towards striking in our hockey ability. But I use the off season to be thankful for the things in life that are outside of hockey, and it's as simple as that.
Yeah, did you what was your training like this off season, and what were you working on the most? Like, what do you think is the biggest improvement you need to make to your game this year?
Yeah, so I think the biggest thing that I was working on the off season was my strength and agility. I'm a pretty fast player on the ice, so just continue to increase my speed and have that help me in the games.
Now, your team has a really big freshman class. Just talk about the freshman class that you're a part of, and how have you tried to gotten to know some of your teammates, some of your teammates so far, since you haven't really met them, just because of how the pandemic has worked out.
Yeah, so I have a big freshman class, which has its pros and cons, of course. But the good thing is that everyone has their own unique talent to bring to the table. So we all gel pretty well. And even if we have differences outside the rink, we always have each other's back on the ice when playing opponents. And that's the most important thing.
Yeah, and just talk about the upperclassmen as well and the leadership and how they helped her transition into college hockey, especially players like Alexa Vasco and Sarah Nellis who've been in college hockey for a few years now.
Yeah, we have a lot of upperclassmen to look up to between our fourth year players and fifth year players. There's always a person that is there to talk to you and help you guide you through the pros and cons that have come along with the season since they've been in the position of being a freshman. And we have a great support between our upperclassmen, which is great.
Now you're from. I want to start off talking about the beginning of your hockey career and work all the way up to where you are now. So you're from Hamilton, Ontario. Talk about growing up there and how did you start playing hockey?
Yeah, I'm indeed born and raised in the Hammer. Hamilton is forever home and has helped me turn into the not only the player I am today, but the person I am today. And I started playing hockey by skating on an outdoor rink. From the moment my dad tied up my skates, I had a natural talent, and my parents thought it would be smart to put me in the places that would help me pursue my hockey career. I grew up playing Hamilton Huskies and then played 2 years of Stony before I ended up here at Mercyhurst.
And who was your favorite player growing up? Was it someone in the NHL or was it a female player on the national team?
I had many favorite players growing up, but two figures I look up to didn't necessarily play in the NHL or in the Olympics, although everybody in those leagues are amazing. I find that I learned the most from the people close to me where I could learn and grow with them. So my sister Alyssa Kawa was my favorite hockey player growing up to watch and teach me as a female figure, and is to this day my biggest supporter. A male figure growing up, I like was my cousin Corey Foster. He was a goalie that played for the Fresno Monsters, the Hamilton Red Wings, the Cheyenne Stampede, and Pelham Panthers, but had to stop hockey due to an injury. But he had taught me the strength and courage to play at a high level of hockey away from family and the place we called home.
Now you were mentioning before you played for Mercyhurst, you played in the PWHL for the Stony Creek Sabres. How did you get the opportunity to be a part of that league and play for Stony Creek?
Yeah, I played for the PWHL for 2 years prior to Mercier, so I got the opportunity of being part of the league by playing for the Stony midget team. We had some great outcomes, and then I ended up going to the junior team of Stony.
And you played your entire career with Stony Creek, like you just mentioned. So just talk about your time there and what you take away from your experience from Stony Creek when you look back on it now.
Yeah, playing in Stony was a great experience, like any other league I played for. The things I took away from it was that there will always be people who just want to knock you down or are jealous or just want to be horrible for that sake of it. But you just realize that anyone who knocked me down only inspired me to do better, and really thank everybody for that.
Now, how did the PWHL help prepare you for college hockey?
I wouldn't necessarily the PWHL help me prepare for college hockey, but more of what I did as an individual and train and mentally prepare for the next step.
Now, how did you handle not playing a season last year, and what did you do during that time period of not playing to help your game improve heading into Mercyhurst this year?
Yeah, I used the last season as a time to find who I really was outside of hockey and focus on building my strength in my body where I couldn't during the season. During the period of not playing, I focused on working on my speed and core strength that would help me for the start of this season.
Now, just talk a little bit about your recruitment process to Mercyhurst. What was that like, and what made you want to go to Mercyhurst versus other schools you might have looked at?
Yeah, the moment I did my visit at Mercyhurst, I just kind of got this feeling that I knew Mercyhurst was home. Mercyhurst is a smaller school, and I was really looking for a smaller school for smaller class size because not only am I here to play hockey, but to get a good feature out of everything. And they have a really good psychology department here, so that was another one of my pros. And I had many schools to choose from, but Hearst is home, so I'm glad I chose here.
Now, I want to ask you about some of the teammates you get to play with at Mercyhurst. The first one is Alexa Vasco. What's it like getting the chance to play with her? And what type of leader is she like since she's played college hockey for 4 years and obviously is using her fifth year eligibility now?
Yeah, it's fun playing with Vasco. She's a really great person. It's funny to see her silly stuff that she does at practice with other teammates. She's a great role model to every single one of us and is willing to work with any person at any time and is just always there as a person and a teammate.
You also get to play with your former Stony Creek teammate, Vanessa Upson, who's having a great freshman year so far. What's it like being her teammate, and what's it like seeing the success that she's having now with Mercyhurst this year?
Yeah, I played with Upton for a couple of years now. We played midget together and we played junior. Love playing as a teammate. Me and her work well on the line together, and she's got a phenomenal outcome this year, and she's just got to keep kicking butt.
So we're now in a segment I like to call the non-hockey segment, where I just ask you some non-hockey questions just to get to know you a little bit. So my first question to you is, if you could do anything for a day, what would you do and why?
If I could choose to do anything for a day, it would be to spend the day on the farm with the horses and other animals. Growing up working on a farm has really made me miss home because the atmosphere here is more city than country, so it's definitely a big change. But if I could go back to a day, I would definitely spend it on the farm.
If you could have lunch with anyone in the world, who would it be and why?
If I could have lunch with anyone in the world, it would be my grandpa in heaven. He was my biggest supporter when he was alive and always told me if things didn't work out and life was okay, but another door will open. And he taught me that anyone can hide, but facing up to things and working through them is what will make me stronger than anyone. And I would die to have another conversation with him.
That's awesome. That's great advice to hear, and I'm sorry for your loss. That's really sad to hear. Now, next non-hockey question is, who is the funniest teammate you have at Mercyhurst?
I mean, I think that everyone can be funny on the team, but if I was to choose one person, I'd have to say Aubrey Cole. She never forced herself to be funny. It's just the way she talks. It's just all natural, and her actions she makes are out of the blue and just kill me. She's not just funny; she has a great personality and finds a way to connect with people on personal levels, making them feel loved. And Obs is 100% my girl on the team that I can connect with and call my person.
Now, I always ask every Mercyhurst player who has the best style on the team besides yourself, but everyone keeps saying Jordan Mortlock. Is she the main answer, or is it someone else?
Yeah, I was gonna say Jordan Morlock as well. She's got some pretty good style and she just overall got some good fits.
Now, who's the best trash talker on the team?
We've got uh we've got a couple good trash talkers, but I think really the funniest trash talker would be Grace Snell's. Just the way she trash talks is so innocent and it's so funny.
Now, what music do you like to listen to on a daily basis or just before a game?
Yeah, on a daily basis and before games, I listen to a lot of country. Before games, I'm famous for listening to the Arkells album. They're a home band from Hamilton, and yeah, I just like the tunes.
Now, final non-hockey question is, what sports do you like to watch besides hockey?
I actually like to watch rodeo. I just find barrel racing such a unique sport that not many people draw their attention to, and relating to such a unique creature is a real treat and lets you have a deep connection with something other than a human being.
Now, back to some hockey questions now. My first question to you is, what advice would you give a younger player who's listening to this on what it takes to make a D1 roster?
Yeah, I would just say just keep your head up and whatever is thrown your way, don't get down. Always think of the positives, and if you fall, just get back up again. Most of all, like believe in yourself, work harder, stay positive in every situation and everything you do, and overall have faith. Never stop believing because like there's always going to be brighter days and the sun will rise and you always have odds against you and people who think you're not the best, but no matter what others think, continue to believe in yourself and do you.
Now, what should be done to help grow women's hockey, in your opinion?
In my opinion, I think more promotion and advertisement or equal opportunity that should be put out to grow women's hockey and just the fact of giving women the chance to show what they can do.
Now, I like to announce that you are one of our athletes that we're going to make exclusive content with, like daily vlogs and IG takeovers, like people have been seeing if they're following our social media. So I just want to announce that Alyssa will be joining us for that. And that's why we're kind of doing this short little interview just to get to know you a little bit. But I just have to get your kind of like statement. How excited you to be joining College Hockey Talk and doing this with us.
Yeah, I'm extremely honored and excited to be on board with you and helping to work with you to make exclusive content that will help people hear what it's the life of a D1 athlete is all about, and experience like these are what help to make memories of your lifetime whole. And I thank you for allowing me to join the team.
Awesome. Well, I'm excited to work with you, and I'm excited to see what we create as the months go on. So, now before I end this interview, I just have to ask if there's any shout outs you'd like to give to any of your family members, teammates, friends, anyone I might have not mentioned in this interview.
Yeah, just shout out to my parents, Dave and Christine, for all they did for me growing up and the money and time they put out every day to help me get to where I am today and give me the opportunity to have a great future. And another shout out to my sister Haley for just always being there and being my biggest supporter and making sure when I'm down that I always get back up. And my other biggest supporter that came into my life for a couple years ago is my brother-in-law, Kevin. Uh, Always there to talk to me, whether it's hockey or not hockey. And I'm very fortunate to have all those family members in my life.
Well, thank you so much for coming on, Alyssa. I really appreciate it, and I wish you all the best for this upcoming season. I know you're going to do great, and hopefully soon I'll get to see you play in person.
Yeah, thank you.